Coming up on this week's Diz Pod, Genie Plus has changes. We deep dive old Key West resort. This week in Disney history, and Cory Storytime returns. All that and more on the Diz Pod. We're here. We made it. It was a long journey, but we made it.
Oof, that was rough. We're here.
It was. And you know what? We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show because that goes right along with what happened yesterday. So that sets the stage for Cory Storytime and a popular item to return. So just to hit on something really quick, just to let everyone know, we want to thank everyone, first of all, that joined the first two podcasts here as we've transitioned to YouTube. And to know that there's only two of us here. So after much discussion and everything, we've decided as a group that the way to go is to try this thing with Lawrence and me. And we have the great support from Dana and Aaron, and we're happy for that. You know, we're all still very good friends and all that. We just think that I think this is going to be the way to go. Got some feedback during the week about things that people missed from the Spotify podcasts. They really loved the energy that I brought, and I know that was a criticism that energy was down. We're ready to bring it. And
Yes.
yeah, what do you think, my friend?
I'm ready. I like this. I think, like you said, Dana and Aaron are very supportive. So that's great. But we will move forward.
Yes, we will. We've got lots to talk
Carousel
about.
of progress.
Like the carousel of progress. We're just going to roll to the next scene.
That's right.
There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and then we're just going to transition to the next scene. So we've got some things to talk about today, my friend. We've got Genie Plus making some changes. Disney doing that again. We will do our weekly deep dive, and we were talking prior to, and we see this deep dive series going really deep. I mean, beyond the resorts, we've got other things that we can deep dive into. And so we've got plans for this thing. If you plan on sticking with us for years to come, you're going to know all about Disney. Let me tell you. Get out those pens.
You'll be experts.
Yes, you'll be experts. I mean, get out those pens. Get the pens, get the paper. Just start taking Disney notes because you're going to learn about everything over time here. So, yeah, Genie Plus, the deep dive today will be Old Key West.
Yes.
And we were bringing back some old favorites. This week in Disney, it'll be looking back on the entire 100 years of Disney, right? And what we think are significant things that have happened in Disney. Not even just in Disney, just for the entire Disney company. So that'll be fun to reflect back on and chit-chat a little bit about that back and forth. Cory Storytime was something that was asked to be brought back by multiple people. So, all right. So this is where it's a little bit different. When I used to start the Spotify podcast, the intro says, this isn't your grandfather's Disney podcast. Maybe some thought, okay, what is that all about? That was just saying, and it goes along with our channel. We don't like, I say we, maybe I speak for the family, but I don't like to do everything like everybody else. Why? So whenever I can do something a little bit different, I get excited about that. And I've been like that since a kid. I'm talking when everybody was getting like the Adidas with the wide colored shoelaces. Maybe it's because my mom couldn't afford them, but I just went with, give me the ponies. Give me the ponies with the smaller laces that have colors. Okay, see, and when the What else came out? When everybody got the Sony Walkman, I got the cheaper Walkman. I just, when everybody was all about the iPhone in the beginning, I got the Samsung. So I like being different, but I only like to be different if I think something's better. So that's kind of my mentality as an adult and bringing it into this. I don't want to do everything like everyone else is doing, which is just like in the parks. We all have the same content available to us in the parks, and we do it. Some spend more time doing other things, and some mix it up. Some do the same 5 rides, some try everything. So we like to try everything and mix it up. I literally go to the park and think, okay, this is my 3rd time to Magic Kingdom in 3 weeks. What can I do different? And I think if I just do one thing differently, people might look at that and go, wow, that was different tonight. Oh, he went on Dumbo for the first time in 3 months. Wow, that was different. Every little thing counts, I think. So not to get off.
I'll say that a well-rounded live stream.
Oh, I got rid of him.
That's
Say that again. I got rid of you.
A well-rounded live stream is really what drives people to watch, I believe. So I think the same thing will happen with the podcast as well. We'll try and continue to be well-rounded, certainly listen to feedback from the audience to see what they like and bring in new features that they like. We know that we've heard that people want us to do live ones, so maybe that's in the future. We'll see.
I always say it's ever changing, like Epcot. And anybody that's ever listened to the podcast, anybody that's ever that's evolved so many times, and we're hoping finally we're settling in. And like Lauren said, we will definitely listen to suggestions. And it's so funny, the changes that were being made, it was already all in motion. And I started to get emails for feedback and everything. And I reached further for more feedback from those people. And we appreciate all of you reaching out because it makes a difference. We listen.
Yes.
So it's ever changing, and we're just going to continue to do what we think is right and good for the channel and good for the podcast. We thought calling this Park Bros would be a really cool thing. And it is cool. But we also not want to discount the female side of things because I'm sure we'll have some female guests, and we want females to participate. This is not just a bunch of bros getting together talking about Disney. So it's not that way.
No.
So let's get into things here. Let's jump in right now to Disney's Genie Plus. So there's still a lot of people out there that don't know what Genie Plus is. They've heard of it. Should I get it? We get those questions all the time, right? I mean, I get it from people, obviously, for what I do, and you even get it from people right?
Yeah, and and you got Genie, you have Genie Plus, you have Lightning Lane, you have individual Lightning Lane. So there's a lot of there's a lot going on with this process. It's not as easy as FastPass was, and even FastPass evolved a couple different times in its lifetime. So. Here we are with another change for Genie Plus. I think this is a good change for sure. And I think it's going to help alleviate some of the stress that people go through of, should I get it? Is it worth getting at this park or that park?
Absolutely. Let's go over some general details of the Genie Plus. So let's go back when it first debuted, and we'll talk about some of those details. So anybody that's not sure, they have a little better idea of what we're talking about. So Disney World Genie Plus was a new service introduced earlier, and it allows guests to use Lightning Lane, and they can use Lightning Lane entrances at select attractions and experiences for a fee. It is the part. What is it? It is a part of the Disney Genie app, which is built in. I mean, that's built in to the My Disney experience, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. All right. So with that, now I've never used it and you have, so you can talk about this when I'm done. But so it's a free digital tool that helps guests plan their park visits and optimize their time. So how does Disney World Genie Plus work? Guests can purchase Disney Genie Plus for a certain fee, and let's see, guests can make one lightning lane selection at a time, starting at 7 a.m. on the day of the visit. And just let me know, stop me if you disagree with anything
Mhm.
here. I thought this was current information that I pulled. So if it's something that seems a little bit dated, let me know because it's gone through some changes.
Yeah.
So from a variety of different attractions, you can purchase an experience across all 4 parks. And let's see, guests can make another lightning lane selection as they redeem their previous one or the arrival window opens, whichever comes first. Guests can also enjoy additional features such as Disney Photo Pass, AR lenses, audio tales from Disney Imagineers, and park tips and fun facts. What are the benefits of a Genie Plus? Let's see. It can help guests save time, the regular standby lines, select attractions and experiences. Disney World Genie Plus can also help guests discover new attractions and experiences that they might not have tried otherwise. Disney World Genie Plus. This article talks about Disney World Genie Plus a lot. They mention the full name.
Mm.
Can enhance guests' park experience with exclusive content and entertainment options. What are the limitations of Disney World Genie Plus? So let me see. I'm trying to use my teleprompter and the speed is just not correct. Let's see. It does not guarantee access to any attraction or experience, as availability is limited and subject to change. Disney World Genie Plus does not include some of the popular attraction experiences, such as Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Avatar, Flight of Passage, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. These attractions require a separate purchase of an individual attraction selection, which is also limited and subject to availability. Disney World Genie Plus does not include park admission, parking, or any other fees or charges associated with visiting the parks. So that's a lot right there.
Yeah.
Reading those. So you're paying a fee,
Right.
and the largest attractions that you probably are purchasing this to hope that you can do them may not even be available. So talk about that.
Yeah. So um, the only thing Remy's will now be included in Genie Plus, as you have Guardians, that is the individual attraction. So where it was saying that some of those wouldn't be included, that's because they are individual Lightning Lane where you would have to pay for those rides. So currently, Tron would fit that. Guardians, Avatar, Flight of Passage, and Rise of the Resistance over at Hollywood Studios. So there's basically one in each park that you would have to pay for individually if you wanted to do that. Excuse me. So the biggest thing right now that I think is starting at 7 o'clock. You pick your first ride that you want to do. You have to find the big ones. So if I'm at Hollywood Studios, I'm probably looking for a time for Slinky Dog, right? Whatever time that may be. I'm
Right.
going to find a time for Slinky Dog because that's the hottest one. That one, your wait time is probably going to be 90 minutes on a Saturday or so. We've seen it at 2 hours, two plus hours. So you will certainly want to do that one ahead of time, and then you cannot do your next selection until 2 hours after the park opens. Now, the good thing is though, the way that I used it was to stack the selections. So, for example, I did it at Magic Kingdom, started at 7 o'clock, picked, I don't remember, let's just say Space Mountain. Got that at like 5 o'clock. So, get into the park, park opens at 9. I can do another selection at 11. At 11, I pick Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and I do that for 6 o'clock. 2 hours after 11, it's now 1. Now I'm picking uh, Dumbo. So I'm just stacking the rides for the end of the night. And in the daytime, I'm doing Hall of Presidents and Pirates that has a low weight. And, Peter Pan is another one in Magic that you need to do. If you got Genie Plus, you need to do Peter Pan because that's always a big weight. So you always want to get the biggest ones done, selected first. And you can go back in and check your times, which is great now. You can actually modify your times. But I think that stacking really works the best. So we did 17 attractions that day in Magic Kingdom, and 7 of them were with Genie Plus. Yeah. So you can maximize your time.
Yeah, so it sounds like if you really know how to navigate that, you can do really well with Genie Plus.
Yeah.
So, man, when you explain it like that, it tells me, as a family of however many coming down, or not even a family. I mean, if you're just a married couple or, whatever, a couple, and you're coming down, I mean, $27 just for that to guarantee that you're going to get to do all that.
Right.
I guess it's worth it. I guess it's more worth it that way. I always feel like obviously it's not really worth it if you're an annual pass holder because you can always just come back and just do whatever you want to do on the days you want to do it. But definitely built for
annual pass holders. We tend to work the parks very differently than, people that are coming for that once a year or once every 5 years or once in a lifetime trip. So certainly for them, I think it is much better. Now, the very first time I used Genie Plus, I was with a group of 16 to 18, depending on what day it was. And some of them, some of my family that went with us may not go again. So I was trying to really maximize the time and to spend the $18 or whatever it was, because the prices do vary. To spend the extra $18 really seemed worth it to maximize their time, because they may not be back.
Sure, man. The bigger the crowd, man. You've traveled with bigger posses than living in Diz. That's a big posse right there. Yeah. All right. So with Genie Plus, new changes have come across this week, and kudos to Disney. I think that they're very good changes.
Yes.
This is a good start in the right direction, right? Because people would come to me and say, all right, should I buy Genie Plus? Well, what parks are you going to? Well, we're going to Magic. We're going to Hollywood. And it's like, yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It was one flat fee for all the parks.
That's right.
And I would always say I wouldn't get Genie Plus for Animal Kingdom. Probably wouldn't get it for even Hollywood. I mean, it almost seemed like to me the other parks weren't really worth it, because if you worked it right, you could pretty much get on still whatever you wanted to. I think Magic Kingdom is a must do with Genie Plus when you're coming down on vacation.
Yeah, and the dynamic pricing now, it changes per park, but it also changes per day. So a Tuesday may not be priced as high as a President's Day weekend will be. But the other problem was that when it was just one fee, you had the potential of it selling out. So now I think with dynamic pricing per park, it may not sell out for Animal Kingdom. It may not sell out for Hollywood, on a President's Day weekend or Christmas, where it might sell out for Magic.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So what's happening now is each park is individually priced. So again, prices can vary, but if you say Magic is $27, you may pick up Animal Kingdom or the other parks at $18 per person. So it will vary. You'll have to check that out when you're planning it, but just know that you don't have to pay as much for the other parks as Magic Kingdom, because I don't think you necessarily, the price justifies that. So it's a better price. So now you could probably say it's worth it for anyone coming down to do that. What was the other last thing about, anything else to add to the new Genie Plus piece?
So you do have the multi-park cost as well,
That's
which
what it was.
typically runs about the same as Magic. We haven't seen it be a different price than Magic yet. That could change. So if you know that you're park hopping, you would want to get that one, that version of it, so that you can use it in multiple parks.
So that's very important for everybody to remember if you're planning your trip and you know you're park hopping, don't just get an individual Genie Plus for that particular day or several days.
Yeah. And the
So
system is smart enough that if you had a reservation that day for Magic and you go in and choose a ride at Hollywood, it's only going to give you times after 2 o'clock because it knows you would have to be park hopping in order to use that. So
very, very intelligent. Good. I think that was a good update on Genie Plus.
yeah,
You agree?
I do.
All right. It's time for our deep dive. We're going to deep dive each and every week into something. We're going to deep dive into all the resorts on Walt Disney property, one per week, and then it'll be off to another deep dive subject. After that, what's it going to be? You'll have to wait and see. So let's dive in.
All right. All right. So last week, if you were with us, you saw us talk about All Star Music, which is a value resort. So we figured we'd go the other way and talk about a DVC resort, which is also a deluxe resort, Old Key West. So Old Key West actually is the oldest DVC property. It opened in '91. It was originally just called Disney Vacation Club Resort. And then when they opened Hilton Head, they needed to name that resort something else, so they called it Old Key West. So it is very close to Disney Springs. It is a huge property at 184 acres. But what's nice about this is because it is a deluxe DVC resort, you have plenty of different rooms. So you do have the regular studio like you would find in many other resorts. You also have a one-bedroom villa. You have a two-bedroom villa, and then you have a huge three-bedroom grand villa. So these villas will have a full kitchen, full, normally two bathrooms, full living room. So if you have a family of, 8 or 9, like I did when we stayed there, we stayed with 7 people, and you had plenty of room for everyone to spread out. The other good thing about these is if you're staying for a long time, you have a full kitchen. So you can make breakfast, lunch, dinner, on those days when you're not going to the parks. It's a really nice place to hang out. Because it's a DVC resort, you're also going to have a lot more recreation facilities. So obviously, you're going to have swimming pools. You have multiple pools, but you also have a fitness center, tennis courts, basketball courts, a playground, even bike rentals. And this resort actually has a 9-hole golf course as well, right next to the property. There is less dining here, but that's because this is a DVC resort. It expects you to do more cooking. But you do have Olivia's Cafe, which is a nice casual restaurant that has American cuisine and a Caribbean twist. You have a nice bar there as well. Excuse me. Transportation is done by bus to the parks, but then you also have boat service, ferry service to Disney Springs, since this is located very close to Disney Springs. So this is a DVC resort, so you do have the use of it if you are a DVC member, but they also will offer regular rooms to rent as well. Of course, this is larger rooms, so they are going to cost more, anywhere from $600 to $1,200 a night. But again, if you're taking 8 or 9 people with you, split the cost. It's not that bad, and you've got a nice home base for the time that you're there. They've got some great pools. Of course, they're themed to the resort of being in Key West. So you've got some really nice pools and recreation facilities there as well. So again, if you're staying for a long time, this is a great resort.
Yeah. I'm thinking, did we stay there? We did. We have stayed there before. It was a quick stay,
Mm,
but it was an overnight quick deal there. But very, very nice, very clean. Tammy was very impressed. She kept saying, it smells so fresh and clean in here.
hmm
And it just really was. It had a nice feel to it. I feel like Old Key West, for me personally, is one that if we're talking, if you're not talking cost, if cost isn't a factor with this, it's not really one that I would choose first, only because, like, with my preference of resorts, like, it's nice. Don't get me wrong,
hmm
it's nice, it's clean, we enjoyed it, we loved it. Would I stay again? Yes. But it, to me, feels like it is like they were condos and they turned them into, a resort. It
Right.
just, it doesn't have like a resorty feel to me. Am I wrong by thinking that?
No, 100%. I mean, but I think that's how it is meant to be because it's a DVC. You have a washer dryer in the rooms with the villas. You've got a washer dryer, but I think it expects, you're expected to be there for a week, 2 weeks. So it's supposed to give you that home feel. When we stayed there, I actually took a work Zoom out on the balcony, so that was pretty nice. And then we headed out to the parks. I do wish that there was a different. I always wish for this that there was a different transportation mode to some of these resorts that are only serviced really by bus. Heck, I want them to make the Skyliner everywhere. So I
Yes,
love
we would.
but no, it really was really nice, and it did give you a home feel. But I do get what you're saying about kind of feeling like a condo. There wasn't much theming to it. The
Right.
theme was Key West, so very different from like we talked about last week with All Star, with all of these huge, music instruments all over the place. A little bit different in the theming.
Yeah, and that's me. And there's people will debate that back and forth. Some people want to experience all the Disney and Disney Springs in the parks, but they want to go back to the resort and not feel Disney.
Right.
That's odd to me, but everybody has their own preferences. I want to come back and still feel Disney, like I'm staying on Disney property.
Right.
So that's why I love Art of Animation and the All-Star Resorts.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of a taste. What, in Port Orleans, you get a little bit of taste of Disney there.
hmm
And you know there's little touches in some of the others, but and so many great resorts out there, but trying to think, I fell in love with, Jillian fell in love with, um Fort Wilderness Campground,
Yeah.
and there is no Disney there. It is just the woods
Yeah.
and the cabin, but it blew my mind out there. I mean, you look up and you're like, Magic Kingdom is over those trees. Wow. That's weird.
Yeah, so she
So,
probably really liked the treehouse villas.
oh, we're really excited for that, and we'll be doing that, at the time of this recording, and when this is released, we'll be doing it tomorrow night. And we
Mhm.
can't wait for July 4th evening to check out the Treehouse Villas, and we'll talk all about that on the next podcast. There'll be plenty of content to talk about there and how the whole week went. So that'll be great. So, ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, we're ready to move on. We're going to move on to This Week in the Parks. So, this week in the parks, what happened? Well, I'll tell you all, anybody that watched the live stream last night, we were really happy with the live stream. I say last night, we're talking Wednesdays, this past Wednesday. And let me tell you, the stream almost didn't happen many, many times. Many times. So what happened, and this is kind of going into Cory Storytime. So we're going to kind of blend the two for today. So let me go back just a little bit. Let's go to Saturdays.
Mm.
The previous Saturdays. So not the one that just happened on this recording, but the one before when we were at Universal. So we were out there entertaining a friend Kathy, who hasn't been there in a long time. And we tried to chill a little bit and let her do what she wanted to do and enjoy. And in turn for that, we didn't hit as many rides, but we're pass holders, so we can always go back. And we didn't really get to, time got away from us at the end of the leading up to the going live. It just got away, and I don't know where it went. I was watching it all afternoon, knew what we wanted to do, and before I knew it, so we went live, and we were supposed to walk around Diagon Alley, show all that, Nocturne Alley. Tammy took off to go over to ET, which, if anybody doesn't know, is at the other end of the park, and she went to go get some return times, and we were going to meet her there. Well, before we knew it, I took a little walk around Diagon Alley, and she's messaging me, and she's like, "You got to get here now." And then I waited 5 more minutes, walked around a little bit more. She's like, forget it. We're done here. And I'm like, so what are we doing? I'm like, you go on that. I'll go to Minions, and I'll feature that on the stream, because that was part of the idea. So I'm heading over there, not knowing if she's coming or not. She wasn't replying to me. And I kept saying, she was saying in the chat, ET, we can't go on now. And I'm like, well, just I'm going to Minions. Meet me there if you can. So I get there, and I wanted to work my way down. They had the banana popcorn stand. They had the cafe. They had the wonderful ice cream pops, and there were 2 merch stores. So we went ahead, and I stood in line for the popcorn, and we waited, and we get to the front after not waiting that long, but we were waiting, and we're pressed for time. And the girl goes, "Oh, we're all out of banana popcorn." I'm like, what? She goes, "But you can pay for it, and you can just wait on the side, and it'll be ready in about 10 minutes. She rings it up. We start to pay, and a coworker says, "Oh, you can't do that. They can't prepay." And she's like, "Well, nobody told me, so I'm just gonna go ahead with it." So she did, and we left our popcorn bucket there. We worked our way down. We got to show some of the buildings and look at the menu for the cafe, and we did that. And I'm thinking, man, if we had more time, we would have eaten dinner here. So I feel like, from my perspective, we kind of messed that all up, and we will have other times to go back and show it. And this time we'll actually eat at the cafe. So we did that, and the plan was to take the stream. Oh, by the way, we tried the pops, and the pops were phenomenal. The Gru one, which was, it was chocolate covered with Nutella ice cream inside.
Oh,
that was amazing. The blueberry lemonade Minion that I had, unbelievable. 5 out of 5 Minions all day long on those. Jillian had the coconut, which she wouldn't share with us. So just take her word for it that it was good. So I'm thinking, this is a get it again. And for anybody that watches the live streams, when I try something in the parks and I say it's a get it again, that means get it again. It's that good. And those were that good. But Tammy was like, they're a little pricey. I'm like, really? She goes, didn't you look? I'm like, no, I was just all happy about getting pops. So we got the pops, and it was $27 after discount for 3.
Oh.
Yeah. So do the math on that, right? So that was a little steep. So I'm like, maybe it's not a get it again all the time then.
And how big are the pops?
Oh, it's a standard pop. Like if you ever get those fruit pops in a box.
Okay.
What is that? Maybe 6-7 inches. It's a decent size. I didn't get it and say, wow, this is small.
Okay.
Just a decent size where you'd buy like a box of 6 for your home freezer. Yeah. That kind of thing. The consistency was ice creamy for the one I had. I don't know if it was like that for Jill's. It could have been more like a fruit bar, a frozen fruit bar. But I highly recommend those if you're going to Universal Studios. Check those out. The banana popcorn was not great. I want to say not good. The banana taste was good. I think you have to have enough of it. So let's say the ratio is 1 banana flavored popcorn piece to 2 not banana.
Okay.
So we felt like the amount of regular buttery salty popcorn was really taking away from the banana taste.
Hmm.
So they need to add more banana flavor to that popcorn for it to be good.
Now, could you tell, there's banana flavored popcorn and there's regular salted popcorn and they put them together, or?
That's a great question. And it could be that way. I mean, I was looking at it. It looked like it was all, I don't know. That's a good question. Either way, I would say either they just didn't put enough on or
Yeah.
they could have mixed it to save money, a money saving move. Maybe it's a little more expensive to put the banana flavor, but they
Maybe.
need to put more. And then it would have been if you said, wow, if they would have increased the the banana flavor by 50%, what do you think? I would probably say, I can't speak for everybody else. On a Minion scale of 5, I could see myself giving it a 4. It really got a 2 rating because there just wasn't enough.
Wasn't enough. Yeah. Yeah.
So of the things we tried there so far, I want to say we were a big fan of them. They just need to up their game on the banana, and maybe next time we're there, I'll mention it. Say this will be really good if you just up that, and maybe they'll learn from it. Maybe we got a bad batch. Would I get it again? Only if I get more banana flavor.
And the pops, were those the only 3? Those are the 3 flavors?
Oh no, there are many more flavors which I don't have in front of me. But if I had to guess, there had to be at least 3 more,
Okay.
maybe 4. And I'll try some other ones, and it might be a get them every time because we only go to Universal who even knows, every 5-6 weeks, something like that.
Right.
So we probably will get them again, and we'll make it a point to eat at the cafe, and we'll do it live so everybody can see it, and we'll try some foods and see how they are with that. We were able to go into the Bake My Day gift shop / bakery.
Okay.
What we found in that bakery was actually, and this is turning into more of a review of Universal, but it was our first time there for Minions. Nice. They had some nice things in the case, but it wasn't anything that you would find differently compared to the other bakeries around the Universal Park and Islands, if that makes sense. The pastries and things like that. Which, don't get me wrong, I think Universal does their bakeries right. I haven't had a bad thing in those. The cupcakes, whatever they're doing is really good. The fudge is outstanding. So they do a really good job. So anyway, we go, the plan was to do that, and then Universal closed at 8, Islands closed at 9. So we made our way over there. We're like, we have enough time to do the trolley over in Seuss Land, and we have enough time to do Cat in the Hat. So we did that, and it wasn't supposed to rain at the time it did, but the rain just started coming, and it came hard. So at that point, we couldn't do the train. We did Cat in the Hat twice. We left the park, and the night was over. And I felt so terrible that the stream was so short. And what can you do, though? But from a creator perspective, you just want to kick yourself in the pants for that. But that was what happened in the parks on that day. And I guess we're staying on topic because it's this week in the parks.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday, it was so stressful coming to the park. So on Sunday, we've wanted to upgrade our phone to the latest and greatest. It's been a while. And so we did this. But when we talked about this, I saw the promotion, turn in your old phone, any condition, good deal. And recently in our town, the cell store just wasn't open on Sundays because they just didn't have the help. Mm-hmm. So we went to the movies, and I mentioned it, and Tammy's like, yeah, they won't be open. So we leave the movies, we're driving by. I see a guy going in the building. I'm like, I got my hands on the window. I'm like, hey, stop the car. Slow down to 10 miles an hour. I'll drop the roll. But she's like, well, you don't have the phone. I'm like, we don't have the phone. She's like, well, maybe you can just ask questions. So we turn around. I go in. I start asking questions. It sounds good. And so I decide to go home, get the, so I said to the girl, I'm like, I don't know. It's a Sunday. I really would like to get the phone now, though. I'm like, I'll think about it. And then I might come back today, if not tomorrow. We get in the car and Tammy Two Wheels takes to the highway, pulls into the driveway. She looks at me. She's like, that was 7 minutes. I'm like, okay, then I'll go. So I'm getting like a flashing in the background. I think that's my lights back there. So we get the phone and talking to the girl, and she sets us all up, and we come home, set the phone up. Actually, there was no setup for the phone, really, hardly anything. These days now, when they transfer everything over, it's just like even the apps, and you're signed in. That's crazy to your apps. So, I wait for Wednesday. Wednesday comes. I pack my bag for the park. We're going to live stream at Magic Kingdom. Get in the car. I start going. Check out the phone on my way. There's no cell service. I'm like, whoa, no. Very sick feeling just dropped into my stomach. So I'm getting gas, and while I'm doing that, I'm trying my best to try to get this thing to, I take off the Wi-Fi. Maybe I just need to do that. Everything I'm trying is not working. So I'm panicking now, looking around. I'm like, I need to make a move. I have to be live in like an hour and 15. What's the move going to be? And I certainly don't want to cancel. So I'm like, I can go in that direction, further away from the park, another 12 minutes, see if they can help me, and then decide if I would still go to the park. So, or I'm like, I can call them. I'm like, I'm taking a chance. I'm heading towards Disney and I'm calling. So I do that. I start going and I call, and I'm on the phone with this guy for like 20 minutes, it feels like. Starting to get, the longer it goes, the more nervous I'm getting. And I'm thinking, he's like, yeah, do you have a SIM card in there? And I'm like, I don't know. And we looked it up, on the about section of the phone. And he's like, it doesn't look like you have that. You just have the eSIM. And I'm like, okay. I don't know what that, I kind of know what that means. And he's like, I'm going to have to escalate this, to the next department above. Now we're like 30 minutes from Disney. For anybody that doesn't know, I'm like an hour away when I take an hour and 15 when I take the long way. The short way is an hour. Watching that clock. So we're going, actually, I lied. I think it was about an hour at that point to go before I was live. So we're talking park the car, get in the park and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm really up against it. And he escalates me. Get a nice woman on the phone. And I'm like, just tell me you're going to fix this. She's like, calm down. Let's go step by step. I'm like, I've got to be live in an hour. So she goes through it and she's like, okay, she goes, did the girl put the SIM card in the phone? I go, we were talking. I don't know. I just saw her doing some things. I didn't pay that close attention to her job. So she's like, okay, what you're going to have to do is when you get home, give me a call. No, I'm not going home. I have to stream. And so finally she's like, well, I can tell you're driving. She's like, can you maybe grab a paper clip or what do you think I have in the car, lady?
A whole toolbox. And
yeah. Let me look. I'm like, look, I am pulled over and I'm currently Wazing or Googling the closest AT&T store. This is my next move. So she's like, oh, okay, well, that could work. I'm like, okay, I'm hanging up with you. I'm going to the AT&T store. I call the AT&T store 3.3 miles away, hoping they're open. Girl answers the phone and I tell her my problem. She's like, oh, come on in. I can help you. So we get there. And I say I get there, or we got there, the phone and me. And I run in. There's nobody in the store. And I'm so thankful for that. And she's like, let me see this. And she looks and she does find there's a SIM card in there. For some reason, it wasn't responding. And she said so for anybody that doesn't know, you can't use a SIM card and an eSIM, which is just electronic programming now. So she takes that one out and she's like, let's just do the eSIM. She fixes it and she says, make a call, and it worked. So it was so funny. Like, how do I say it? Beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. I thought she was Russian. She was very tall, very big boned. Just a just a just a larger girl, but
Mhm.
not large, but just a big boned girl, big beautiful eyes, all that stuff. And she had this accent. I thought it was Russian, but I said, "Thank you so much. You saved my life." I'm like, "What nationality are you?" She's like, "Oh, I'm Mexican." And I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you so much for saving my life, and you're very beautiful. Good night." So I run out, I jump over the bushes. I almost wanted to like slide over the car like Bo and Luke Duke and get in the car. So I get in and I'm like 3 miles from Disney or something. I was on the highway and off the highway in minutes.
Mm.
Get to the park the car, get all the way up to TTA, TTC, whatever it is, and I get all the way through on the boat. We go live with like right on time, and nobody would ever have known. But that was my stress and time there. So we made it, and in the parks that night, it rained. It was weird. It was really weird. Happily Ever After just didn't go off at 9:20 like it should have. I didn't even check the time. I think it was close to 10
10
where
it
it
was
finally went
after
off.
it was after 10. It was about 10:05.
10:05, and I left my umbrella in the car because my latest update of the weather said no rain, and it looked like no rain. And gladly, Samantha Carpin, one of our great friends of the family and the channel, was there. She had an umbrella. We huddled up together and we were able to pull it off. So that's this week in the parks, and it kind of tied into Cory Storytime, I thought. So I hope y'all enjoyed that one, and we'll do more Cory Storytime in the future. So time to move on to character spotlight. This is something that we are going to do each and every week. Now, these staples, sometimes they may get pushed if we have other content, but I think it's a good thing because it just means we have some really good content to go over. And that's why that would be bumped. But most weeks you will see these features that we're bringing over from the Spotify podcast. So tonight, our featured guy, and I go back and forth. We could go all over the place, or we could go chronologically too.
Mm.
I mean, we can't do every character. You'll be stuck in the 1920s, in the 30s forever. Maybe we'll just bounce around, but we'll see. But the guy is Oswald, and there's Oswald with Mickey. I mean, look at that. Oswald has his hands on his hips, and Mickey has his hand up. He's like, "Hiya, pal." And, Mickey never gets mad at anybody. So
Don't
we're
think
going to
Oswald is having any of it.
No, Oswald is having none of it. So I assume everyone listening, everyone watching is familiar with Oswald. But Oswald was actually Walt's first prized possession, his first character. And some things happened where Walt lost Oswald. So let me convey some of that information in detail, and then we can kind of discuss that for a short time. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is an iconic character of the world of animation. Created by Walt Disney and UB Iwerks, Oswald played a significant role in the development of the animation industry and served as a precursor to the beloved character Mickey Mouse. The story of Oswald began in the 1920s when Walt Disney, along with his friend and animator UB Iwerks, was working for Universal Pictures. Seeking to create a new character, they came up with Oswald, a mischievous and adventurous rabbit. Oswald quickly gained popularity with audiences, and a series of successful films created by Walt Disney and UB featuring the character were produced. However, in 1928, a devastating blow struck Disney and Iwerks. Universal Pictures, under the influence of Charles Mintz, the distributor of Oswald cartoons, attempted to take control of the character and the Disney studio. Mintz, realizing the value of Oswald, offered a lower budget and demanded Disney accept it. When Disney refused, he was shocked to learn that Mintz secretly hired away all of the Disney animators, leaving him with no choice but to part ways with Oswald. Determined to bounce back from this setback, Walt Disney brainstormed a new character. Inspired by a pet mouse he cared for in his office, Disney created a new animated hero, Mickey Mouse. With the creation of Mickey, Disney not only regained control over his own characters, but also established a new era of animation history. Meanwhile, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit continued to have a successful run under Universal's direction. Various animators took charge of the character, and his popularity continued to grow. However, Oswald eventually faded into obscurity as new characters and animation techniques emerged. In a surprising turn of events, in 2006, Disney CEO Bob Iger initiated negotiations with NBC Universal, the current owner of Oswald, to reclaim the rights to the character. After months of discussion, a deal was struck. In exchange for sportscaster Al Michaels, who was under contract with Disney-owned ESPN, Disney regained the rights to Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. This unexpected reunion marked a significant milestone in animation history. Oswald once again became a part of the Disney family, and the character made appearances in video games, merchandise, and even a new animated short film titled Get a Horse from 2023. The story of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is a testament to the resilience and determination of Walt Disney. Despite the initial setback, Disney's unwavering creativity and innovation led him to create one of the most iconic characters in animation history, Mickey Mouse. Oswald's journey from being a lost character to being a rediscovered and embraced by Disney fans once again highlights the enduring legacy of this beloved rabbit. In conclusion, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit played a significant role in the history of animation. From his creation by Walt Disney and UB Iwerks to his separation from the Disney studio and eventually reunion, Oswald's story is a tale of triumph and resilience. Today, he stands as a reminder of the enduring magic and influence of animation in our lives. And that is the character spotlight for Oswald. Your thoughts?
You know, there's some great documentaries on YouTube about Walt and his life, and I remember watching one about this situation. Um, the determination and the endurance that Disney had is why, we're here today. Talking about Disney as big as it is. I mean, there's so many setbacks that he experienced with characters and the parks and the studios, and he just kept going. So I would encourage anybody to find those shows on YouTube, those documentaries, because it's amazing what he's done.
Absolutely. And, think about it. If Universal doesn't step in and not swipe Oswald out from under Walt, we would probably just, Oswald would have been the guy all along.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be wearing Mickey ears. Mickey probably doesn't get created.
Right.
It's possible maybe down the line, Walt's like, we need more characters. Because he did that. We need more characters. He might have looked at that pet mouse and said, let's create a mouse.
Yeah.
Just crazy how things happen. And again, the resilience just over the decades just continued and carried out by Bob Iger, who says we need to get, he saw an opportunity where he could probably swipe Oswald back. And to think that Oswald was actually traded for a human.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Crazy.
Al Michaels, of all people, legendary sportscaster.
Crazy,
right? And now, this debuted, probably late last year, I would say. Maybe the last quarter of the year, maybe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, either that or early this year.
Yeah.
Early this year.
And I have that blue shirt in the bottom right-hand corner. I love all the Oswald merch. They did a really good job with it. I was really impressed with it. And I will, want to say that this photo was furnished by WDW News Today. So we give credit for that. They do a great job with merch photos. And I mean, there's nothing that I think I didn't like with this collection. Of course, you're not going to buy everything, but I did like a lot about this merch.
And I've seen a good amount of the merch, in the parks. There's plenty of people wearing the shirts or the ears. So it's good to
Yeah,
see people are embracing that.
absolutely. So yeah, let's take a moment to just talk about things like Patreon and the Diz Club. If you are interested in supporting this cause, I tell you, the money goes right back into this channel. Uh, we have put a lot of time, effort, and money into this channel, and I don't talk about that much, but I think it's important for people to know where the money goes. Um, Obviously, when it's donated, you don't have to say anything. But I do like to be legit and let people know that yes, there is a good amount that goes into the betterment of the channel, and we have revamped all of our equipment, all the behind the scenes tech stuff. It's all there, and I think it showed last night on Wednesdays.
Absolutely.
And I think it's going to continue to move us forward. And this is what I think now, after watching what we did last night, it's going to help this grow. There was no lag. Not that we'll ever not experience it, but there were just some positive things tech wise that happened that I think will not slow down audiences when they start to come in.
Hmm.
So that's good stuff. And so all that information is down below in the description. And I was told, so we've added, other payment options. There's super chats. There's also, if you're watching on a rewatch, there is what they call super thanks. It's just like a super chat. You can always do that. And we have PayPal, which, if given a choice, we're thankful for anything. But sometimes people want to know what's better. PayPal, you get the entire amount of the donation. YouTube takes 30%. If you're streaming on a non-iPhone, they take 30% of super chats. And we added Venmo because Generation Z has this thing against PayPal. That's what I was told. So Venmo is the way to go, just in case you have some Gen Z people that are watching. We love you all. And you felt like, man, I'd like to donate, but I'm not going to deal with PayPal. That's one way to be able to donate. So
See, I wouldn't have known that. Not Gen Z. So
No, no, I didn't know either. So let's take a moment to talk about our sponsors, and then we'll go to the final segment of this podcast. So right now you're looking at Victor Naraki. You can contact him at celebrating Florida at gmail.com. And he is responsible for finding you a home near Disney. So if you're thinking about this, with over a decade of helping people find the homes of their dreams, Victor is the perfect realtor of Vision Home Real Estate, LLC, to help you find the home of your dreams. Just go to disneyatyourdoorstep.com. That's disneyatyourdoorstep.com. Victor hung out with me last night in the Parkz. He's more than happy to come on with us at some point, and we'll have him on.
yes.
For a segment. Yes. And if you're simply just looking to visit the Disney parks and beyond, anything Disney, this is your lady. Book your next vacation with Your Magical Adventures Await. Claudia is creating Disney adventures worldwide. She can create a magical adventure to Walt Disney World, Florida, any Disney park worldwide, Disney Cruise Lines, Alani Resort in Hawaii, guided group vacation with Adventures by Disney. And she's also a Universal Studios expert. If you book with her, it is free. Now, she contacted me because there was a point where some people were contacting her expecting the trip to be free. Come on, people. You're better than that. Seriously? What?
How would that work?
Oh, her services are free. She doesn't charge you any extra. So she's available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Make her your magical planner, please. She's a wonderful lady. She'll be on with us several times, and she will talk just Disney, straight up Disney, too. She doesn't even have to talk about the packages. Just the fact that she's here, and we'll mention her. But you can contact her 956-455-849. That's 956-455-8049. And you can get her on Instagram, all one word. She's a great lady. And I just add this on sometimes. Like you, like me, and I've done this before. I know a lot about Disney, and even before I lived here, and I could book my own trip. But why not hook up with a travel agent anyway? Because I guarantee they're going to find one or two things here and make a suggestion where you're like, okay, I didn't really know that option.
Yep.
Or just have them represent you, because if something goes wrong in the resort or anything and you don't want to deal with it and you want somebody with a little more clout, maybe call your realtor, call Claudia. She will be on the phone in a second to deal with your issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And they'll find you dining reservations that you may not be able to find on your own. They'll do the legwork for you. But I'm excited to have her on soon.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Brain.
Yeah, absolutely. We can pick her brain and all that good stuff. I think we covered everything.
I think so.
It's been an hour. It's been an hour. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us for this podcast. I hope you loved this podcast, and I hope you love the new format. Let us know in the comments. It's so important to comment below. YouTube likes that, and it'll help out the podcast to grow. This was a lot of fun, my friend.
Great talking to you for an hour. You and I could talk for hours and hours.
And we do. Trust me. We talked before this. We talk after it. All that. So feel the love all the way through from you guys to us. We thank you all for joining us. And remember, we're live in the parks 2 to 3 times a week. You got to subscribe or you won't be notified when the podcast goes up, when we're live in the parks. Like I said, other people do live streams in the parks. What I like to say we do different, besides being an actual family in Disney, and again, our motto, enjoy Disney through the eyes of our family. That's what it is. But the other thing is, I always say now, we bring the extra fun. We bring the extra fun to the stream. You know, I think my personality, the family's personality carries through with those things, and we just bring that extra fun and laughs. So
it's going to be a busy week in the parks.
It's going to be a very busy week. Let's touch on that quickly. So this is airing. This is releasing on Monday, and actually, we are there at the parks right now.
Right now,
ready to watch the fireworks. The July 3rd fireworks at Magic Kingdom. It'll be my first time. I'll be so excited to do that. I expect it to just be, to quote Neil, a madhouse, but we're going to do it. And the following night, we're in Epcot. We'll be streaming. Estimated time can change for start time, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll go all the way through close and a World Showcase walkthrough after the massive fireworks at Epcot. Anybody's going to be there in YouTube and all that stuff. And the next day, it's already been announced. So join us on the 5th. We're doing 4 Disney parks in one day. We're riding 2 rides in each park. We're having a snack of some type. We're riding all 4 forms of transportation: the Skyliner, the monorail, the boat, and the bus.
You got it.
It's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a 12-hour stream minimum. So it's a big, big, epic week here on Living in Diz. And that's all I've got to say about that.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week, my friend. Well,
this is going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So we hope you're all there for it. And for now, thank you so much for allowing us to be your ticket to Disney. And I'm Cory.
I'm Lawrence.
And we're Living in Diz. We'll see you in the park.